Most people drift through life without ever questioning why they make the decisions they make. They live in reaction mode, constantly responding to what the world throws at them. They are the pawns on a massive chessboard, moving only when pushed, never asking who is playing the game. But a rare few, those who rise above, see the bigger picture. They understand that life is not random. Life is strategy. You can be one of those rare few. The world is full of distractions, lies, and illusions, designed to keep you obedient, to keep you predictable. But there's a way to break free from this control. It starts by learning to think strategically, not in one area, but in every aspect of your existence. Strategy is not just for generals or CEOs, it is for anyone who wants to live on their own terms. In this video, I will reveal 3 mental transformations that will sharpen your mind into a weapon. These principles come from some of the greatest minds in history, Sun Tzu, Machiavelli, and the Stoics. If you apply them, you'll stop being a pawn in someone else's game, and you'll start becoming the player who controls the board. But first, you must understand something fundamental. Power is never given. It's taken. The world is not fair. It never has been. While some people complain, others quietly build influence, prepare, and make their moves. You must decide which one you want to be. The first transformation is emotional detachment. Most failures, betrayals, and bad decisions in life stem from uncontrolled emotion. Anger blinds you. Fear paralyzes you. Pride pushes you into traps. A master strategist feels these emotions but does not let them dictate action. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor. In his private writings, he constantly reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." In a world filled with chaos, being calm is your superpower. When others lose control, you remain collected. This does not mean suppressing your feelings. It means mastering them. The next time someone insults you, tries to manipulate you, or provokes you, ask yourself, what do I gain by reacting? Is my reaction giving me power or giving them control over me? Emotional detachment also applies to relationships, business, and conflict. For example, in negotiations, the person who stays calm while the other panics always wins. Think of the last time you argued with someone. Did it end well, or did it escalate? Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care about the right things, the outcome, not the drama. Now let's move to the second transformation, seeing the world as it is, not as you wish it to be. This is harder than it sounds because humans are wired for comfort, not truth. We believe what feels good, not what is real. But strategists do the opposite. They seek clarity, even if it hurts. They strip away illusions, both their own and those created by others. Machiavelli, the author of The Prince, famously wrote that rulers must learn how not to be good. He didn't mean to be evil. He meant that leaders must see reality as it is, not as morality or tradition tells them it should be. For example, many people believe loyalty is permanent, but a strategist knows loyalty is conditional. It lasts only as long as interests align. This understanding doesn't make you cynical, it makes you prepared. Look at your own life. Who do you trust? Why? Are you aware of their motives, or do you assume they think like you? Most betrayals happen because people project their own honesty onto others. The strategist doesn't assume, they observe. They listen to words but believe actions. Seeing reality also means recognizing patterns. History repeats itself because human nature doesn't change. Wars, business collapses, political scandals, they all follow predictable cycles. If you study these patterns, you can predict outcomes before they happen. This gives you an advantage that others mistake for luck. The third transformation is learning to think 2 moves ahead. Life is not checkers, it's chess. Every decision creates ripples that affect future events. Yet most people only think about what's directly in front of them. They take jobs without thinking about where they lead. They say things without thinking about how they'll be remembered. They act in the moment and wonder why the future feels like a trap. Sun Tzu, the ancient Chinese general, wrote in The Art of War that every battle is won before it is fought. What he meant is that preparation determines victory, not the fight itself. When you anticipate outcomes, you are no longer surprised by them. You don't have to react because you've already calculated the best move. Think of someone who always seems lucky. They get promotions, avoid disasters, and make the right calls. It's not luck, it's foresight. They ask themselves, if I take this action, what happens next? And after that? And after that? They don't just plan for success, they plan for failure too, and know how to turn it to their advantage. When you start thinking this way, life becomes less stressful because you stop being blindsided. While everyone else is running around reacting to problems, you're calmly executing a plan. People will call you lucky or even manipulative, but the truth is simple. You saw what they couldn't. Combine these three transformations, detachment, clear vision, and foresight, and you'll have the foundation of strategic thinking. But this is only the beginning. Strategy is not just something you think about, it's something you live. Every conversation, every choice, every relationship is part of a larger game. You must start asking yourself, what game am I really playing? Who is moving the pieces, and why? There's an old saying, when you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. But most people don't know either. They don't know their own weaknesses, and they don't understand the motives of others. They walk blindly into traps. You will not be one of them. You will start observing, questioning, and planning. You will learn to hide your strengths and expose the weaknesses of others. You will use patience as a weapon and knowledge as armor. Once you master these principles, something interesting happens. People will start underestimating you. They will think you are just like everyone else, and that's exactly what you want, because underestimation is the strategist's greatest ally. When people don't see you coming, you control the element of surprise, and in life, surprise wins battles. Once you understand the power of being underestimated, you can start shaping how others perceive you. This leads to one of the most subtle but powerful tactics in strategy: controlling appearances. In life, people rarely see the truth. They see what you show them. If you present yourself as harmless, they will let their guard down. If you present yourself as confident, they will follow your lead. If you present yourself as weak, they may try to dominate you, but that too can be a trap if you know how to use it. Machiavelli taught that a prince must appear virtuous, even if he is not always virtuous in practice. This doesn't mean living a lie. It means understanding that perception is reality in the eyes of others. In politics, business, and even relationships, the image you project often matters more than your actual abilities. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who wasn't particularly skilled, but still managed to rise to power? They understood appearances. They knew how to look like they were in control, even if they weren't. And because others believed it, it became true. Confidence, after all, is contagious. But there's another side to appearances: concealment. True power often hides in plain sight. The quiet person in the room, the one who doesn't boast or demand attention, often knows more than they reveal. They listen, they observe, and when they finally act, it's decisive. You should learn to balance these two sides. Reveal enough to gain trust, but conceal enough to keep an edge. Never show all your cards. Keep something in reserve, a skill, a plan, an insight that no one expects. When you finally use it, the effect will be explosive. This leads to another principle: never fight battles you don't need to fight. A strategist chooses their battles carefully. The strongest warriors don't waste energy on small fights. They conserve strength for the moments that matter. Every conflict drains resources, time, energy, relationships. Before you engage, ask yourself, what is the cost? What is the gain? Is this a hill worth dying on? The world is full of people who pick fights to feed their ego. They want to be right more than they want to win. Do not be one of them. Being right means nothing if it leaves you weak. Sometimes the smartest move is to walk away, not because you're afraid, but because you're saving your power for a bigger victory. Sun Tzu wrote, "Supreme excellence consists of breaking the enemy's resistance without fighting." That means winning without conflict is the highest form of strategy. You win by positioning, by preparation, by making your opponent realize they can't win before the battle even begins. In your own life, this might mean outthinking a competitor rather than outworking them. It might mean using silence instead of arguing. It might mean letting someone believe they've won when, in reality, they've fallen into your plan. The less energy you waste, the more control you keep. Now, let's talk about something that makes most people uncomfortable. Manipulation. The word has a negative connotation, but manipulation simply means influencing situations to achieve a desired outcome. Every advertisement, every speech, every social interaction involves some form of influence. The question is, are you aware of it, or are you being controlled by it? A strategist learns the mechanics of influence not to exploit people unnecessarily, but to protect themselves and to shape outcomes. When you understand how people are persuaded, you stop falling for cheap tricks. You stop reacting to emotional bait. You begin to choose your responses with precision. For example, consider the power of scarcity. People value things more when they seem rare. Marketers use this all the time. Limited time offer, only a few left. But scarcity also applies to you. If you give your time and attention freely, people take it for granted. If you make it scarce, it becomes valuable. Sometimes, saying no increases your worth more than saying yes. Another tool of influence is reciprocity. Humans are wired to return favors. Do something small for someone, and they often feel compelled to do something in return. Strategists use this to build alliances. They give strategically, knowing it creates bonds that can be useful later. Then there's framing. How you present information changes how it's perceived. The same fact can lead to opposite reactions depending on how it's framed. For instance, telling someone they have a 70% chance of success creates optimism, while 30% chance of failure creates fear, even though the numbers are identical. Strategists use framing to guide decisions without force. But here's the key. Influence is most powerful when it's invisible. If people feel manipulated, they resist. If they feel they're making their own choices, they comply. The best strategy is to create conditions where the outcome you want seems like the natural choice. This brings us to patience. In a world obsessed with speed, patience is a super weapon. Everyone wants instant results. Everyone rushes. The patient strategist waits, watches, and moves only when the time is perfect. Like a predator stalking prey, they don't waste energy chasing. They wait for the right moment to strike, and when they do, it's decisive. Think of Warren Buffett, one of the most successful investors in history. He once said, "The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient." Life works the same way. Opportunities come to those who prepare and wait. Patience also protects you from traps. Many mistakes happen because people act too soon, without enough information. By waiting, you let others reveal their intentions. You see their patterns. You learn their weaknesses. Then, when you move, it's with confidence. As you practice patience, you also develop resilience. Life will test you. Plans will fail. People will betray you. Situations will spiral out of control. But resilience means you bend without breaking. You adapt. You adjust. You stay in the game long enough to turn the tide. Resilience comes from understanding that setbacks are not the end. They are part of the process. Every strategist has lost battles. What matters is whether you keep learning. Each failure is a lesson. Each obstacle strengthens your skills. Over time, the game slows down. You see moves others can't. And finally, we arrive at the ultimate principle: the power of silence. In a noisy world, silence is rare. People fear it because it reveals truth. But a strategist uses silence to their advantage. They listen more than they speak. They let others reveal themselves. In negotiations, silence makes the other side uncomfortable. They start talking, giving away information, making concessions. Silence is also powerful in conflict. When someone tries to provoke you, silence is stronger than shouting. It shows control. It denies them the reaction they want. Silence creates mystery, and mystery creates power. When you combine silence with observation, patience, and foresight, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability is a shield. If people can't predict your moves, they can't control you. This is where true power lies, not in dominating others, but in mastering yourself. When you control your emotions, your image, your patience, and your decisions, you control the game. Others may not understand what you're doing, but they will feel your influence. They will respect it, even fear it. You may wonder, where does this all lead? What is the purpose of thinking like a master strategist? The answer is simple: freedom. Most people live lives dictated by circumstance. They react to whatever comes their way. They are tossed around by emotions, by other people's opinions, by luck, and by fear. They think they are free, but they are trapped in invisible cages. Strategic thinking is the key to breaking those cages. When you think strategically, you stop letting life happen to you. You start happening to life. You take control of your choices, and therefore your destiny. But to achieve this freedom, you must be willing to do something most people are not. You must constantly study yourself. The greatest enemy you will ever face is not out there, it's inside you. Your doubts, your habits, your laziness, your fear of change, these are the real obstacles. Sun Tzu warned that if you know yourself and know your enemy, you need not fear the result of 100 battles, but if you know neither, you will lose every time. How well do you know yourself? Do you understand your strengths? Not the ones you show off, but the ones you rely on when things get hard. Do you know your weaknesses? Not to hide them, but to improve them. Self-knowledge is a constant process. It's uncomfortable because it forces you to confront truths you'd rather ignore. But every time you face a weakness, you gain power over it. You turn it from a liability into a tool. This is why journaling, meditation, or even quiet reflection can be powerful. They force you to step back from the noise of the world and listen to yourself. They help you see patterns in your own behavior. Once you see the patterns, you can change them. You can break habits that keep you weak and build habits that make you strong. Self-mastery is the foundation of all other mastery. Without it, no strategy will save you. With it, no obstacle can stop you. Another critical element of strategy is adaptability. The world is constantly changing. Technology evolves, economies shift, relationships end, new ones begin. What worked yesterday may not work tomorrow. A rigid thinker clings to old ways and breaks under pressure. A strategist adapts. Adaptability doesn't mean abandoning your principles. It means adjusting your tactics while staying true to your goals. Think of a river flowing around rocks. It doesn't stop. It doesn't fight the rock. It simply finds another way forward. This is how you must approach challenges. Adaptability also means learning from everyone and everything. Even your enemies have something to teach you. Watch how they move, how they think, how they win. Take what is useful, discard the rest. Never stop learning, because the moment you think you know it all, you've already lost. Let's talk about allies. No strategist wins alone. Even the greatest leaders had networks of supporters, advisors, and loyal followers. Building alliances is an art. It requires trust, reciprocity, and sometimes compromise. But choose your allies carefully. Not everyone who smiles at you is your friend. Look for people who share your vision, not just your interests. Interests change. Vision endures. Support those who support you, and don't be afraid to cut ties with those who consistently drag you down. Loyalty should never be blind. It should be earned and re-earned over time. And while you build allies, never forget that there will always be rivals. Competition is a fact of life. You don't need to hate your rivals. In fact, they can make you better. A worthy opponent forces you to sharpen your skills. But never underestimate them, and never let them underestimate you. Respect your enemies enough to study them, but not enough to fear them. As you grow stronger, you'll notice something. People will start reacting to you differently. Some will admire you, some will envy you, some will try to bring you down. This is the price of standing out. Weak minds attack what they don't understand. Strong minds learn from it. Do not waste energy defending yourself against every critic. Let results speak louder than words. The best revenge against those who doubt you is success. The best response to hate is silence. Remember, lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. Now, let's look at the bigger picture. Every day, you make choices that seem small: what to read, who to spend time with, how to react to problems. These choices are like drops of water that eventually carve rivers through stone. Over time, they shape your future. A strategist pays attention to the small things because they know small things accumulate into big outcomes. They also know when to step back and look at the entire landscape. Life is not just a series of days, it's a journey. You must know where you are going. Without a clear direction, even the best tactics are useless. So ask yourself, what is your end game? What do you want your life to stand for? What legacy do you want to leave behind? The answers don't need to be grand or public, they just need to be clear. A clear goal turns every obstacle into a stepping stone, every failure into a lesson, every success into momentum. In the end, strategic thinking is not about controlling others. It's about controlling yourself so you can create the life you want. It's about staying calm when others panic, seeing clearly when others are blinded, planning ahead when others live moment to moment. It's about playing chess in a world full of checkers players. If you commit to this path, the world will start to look different. You will notice patterns where others see chaos. You will find opportunities where others see problems. You will act with intention while others drift. And slowly, quietly, you will rise. People will wonder how you do it. They'll call you lucky or even manipulative. But you'll know the truth. You simply learn to think differently. You stopped reacting and started planning. You stopped following and started leading. This transformation won't happen overnight. It takes practice, patience, and persistence. But every step you take brings you closer to mastery. Remember this: while others chase power, you will embody it. While others seek approval, you will earn respect. While others play small games, you will play the only game that matters, the game of life, on your terms. And when you look back years from now, you'll realize something profound. The moment you started thinking like a strategist was the moment your life truly began. Because in the end, the greatest victory is not over others. It's over the person you used to be. You now have the mindset that can change everything: emotional detachment, clear vision, foresight, control of appearances, patience, influence, adaptability, and self-mastery. Use these principles and you'll stop being a pawn. You'll become the player who moves the pieces. Most people will never hear this message, and even fewer will apply it. But you are different. You've watched this far because something inside you wants more. Take what you've learned today, practice it, live it, and one day, you won't just survive the game of life, you'll win it.